Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the online workshop number 10 of the PISTAR International Training Program. Today, on the 10th of April 2021, 2 to 5 p.m. Pakistan time. I am Dr. Saleha Naghmi Habibullah, Professor of Statistics at Keynote College. Also, I'm Honorary Director of PISTAR and also the Educational Ambassador for Pakistan.
I think her connection is. Yes. The focal person is Dr. Syed Wasim Abbas, and the PISTAR team includes Mr. Muhammad Iftikhar, Executive Secretary ISSOS, Professor Muhammad Aslam, retired from FCC College, Dr. Sharqa Hashmi, me, the Assistant Professor in Lahore College for Women University, Mr. Haris Khurram, Lecturer at FAST, Ms. Zulaiha Mashkoor, Lecturer at Minhaj University, Ms. Kamal Aslam, MPhil Statistics from Keynote College, Lahore, and also Ms. Aqsa Abid, Keynote College from Lahore. International participants includes Mr. Muhammad Afzal from UK, Dr. Raza Arabi Balaghi from Iran, Ms. Mino from Iran, Mr. Marwa Thomas from Kenya, and participants from Pakistan includes Ms. Baliga, Ms. Shakila, Ms. Razia, Mr. Farooq Sajjad, Ms. Komal Akbar, Mr. Muhammad Awais Ashraf, Mr. Muhammad Farooq Atiq Ansari, and Mr. Muhammad Muzammil Sajjad Mirza. Today's program includes from 2 to 5 the words of welcome by Dr. Saleha Naghmi. From 5 to 11, Dr. Abla, keynote speaker, and then to 11 to 2:40, the address, keynote address is going to be started and going on Bayesian dynamic regression of climate data, a change point analysis, and from 2:40 to 2:46, introduction of Mr. Muhammad Jawad Mirza, the resource person of today's workshop, and 2:46 to 3:26, the workshop will be on pivot tables for data science by Mr. Muhammad Jawad Mirza, and then for a short break from 3:26 to I think a few minutes, and after that workshop series on data science idea by aspiring statistical consultants by Professor Roger Stern and by David Stern from UK, and a brief introduction by Dr. Saleha Naghmi, and then after the break 3:33 to 4:36 workshop will be resumed, and from 4:36 to 4:45 question answer session, and after the session feedback from the participants will be taken, and then vote of thanks, and then the closing remarks by the Dr. Saleha Naghmi Habibullah. Next, the keynote address by Dr. Olushina Olawale, Assistant Professor, Anchor University Laboratory for Interdisciplinary Statistical Science and Data Analysis, Anchor University, Lagos, Nigeria. His educational degrees includes PhD from 2011 to 2016, and then Masters in MBA, and then before a Masters in Business Administration, he did his MSc from 2005 to 2007, and before MSc, the BSc from 2000 to 2003, and also he did the National Diploma in Mathematics and Statistics, the Federal Polytechnic of Govt State, Nigeria. His employment includes from 2009 to 2017 to present. He is the Assistant Professor of Applied Statistics Coordinator, Anchor University Laboratory, Interdisciplinary Statistical Science and Data Analysis. And from 2010 to 2017, he was the lecturer and coordinator, Laboratory for Interdisciplinary Statistical Analysis and Collaboration. And from 2013 to 2014, for the 1 year, he was the pre-doctoral fellow visiting scholar, Laboratory for Interdisciplinary Statistical Analysis, Department of Statistics, USA. These are all the affiliation which are concerned to the keynote speaker. You can read all these awards and the publications he did during this time duration, and there is a lot of it. So Dr. Ave is a competent statistician and researcher with strong analytical skills and research potentials. As an applied statistician and data scientist, he strongly interests in applying his expertise to various economic, medical, environmental, and climate research projects for solving burning issues affecting the human populace, especially towards the achievement of Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. He is highly motivated by new challenges and opportunities. He is an elected member of the International Statistical Institute. The title of the talk is Bayesian Dynamic Regression of Climate Data, a Change Point Analysis. So over to the keynote speaker. Please carry on. I'm sharing my slides. So
I want to ask you, Dr. Awe, would you like to share your slides yourself? Then yes. You can share. Okay, then you can share your own screen.
All right, let me try that. Share. Have you enabled me to share?
Dr. Wasim, can you enable him to share, please?
All right. Now, can you see my slide now?
Yes, yes, we can.
Great. Thank you very much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank the organizers of this workshop. And I want to thank specifically Professor Saleha for inviting me. It's such an honor, and I see it as a privilege to be in your midst today. Today, I want to share with you something that I'm passionate about as this keynote address. The title of my talk today is Bayesian Dynamic Regression of Climate Data, a Change Point Analysis. A little bit more about me. I'm an affiliate member of the African Academy of Sciences. I'm a senior lecturer at Anchor University, Lagos, and also an elected member of ISI. I'm a fellow of African Scientific Institute, and also a visiting professor of Federal University of Bahia in Brazil. I just returned not long ago. And then I'm also appointed as a professor and PhD advisor at Global Humanistic University in Curaçao, in the Netherlands, Antwerp. And then I'm also the LESA 2020 Engagement Ambassador to Africa. In all of these, I've come across different researchers and different research works which I've participated in, part of which I want to share today as this keynote address. I'm going to be following this outline. I'm going to talk about the Bayesian revolution just briefly, and then I'm going to contrast the Bayesian versus the frequencies approach. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about the advantages of the Bayesian method, and then the background and motivation for the brief project that I undertook, and then a case study, and then methodology of the work, and then some results and conclusion. Now let's start with the Bayesian revolution.
Sorry, Dr. Abe, I'm interrupting here. It's a great honor to have you. I just wanted to share with you that you would have about 25 to 30 minutes to complete the talk, so you can plan your
no problem. I'm going to finish. Yeah, I just have about 16 slides. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. So we all know that the Bayesian revolution started from a Reverend gentleman, Thomas Bayes, who was an English statistician and a Presbyterian priest. But the modern Bayesian movement began in the second half of the 20th century, although he proposed the theorem, the Bayes theorem, in the 17th century. But there was controversy, but the modern Bayesian movement began. Of course, it was revisited. His theorem was revisited, and the modern movement began in the 20th century. And it was made popular by a man called Jimmy Savage in the US and Dennis Lidley in Britain. And since then, the flame of Bayesian thinking began to be kept alive by a few other thinkers, such as Bruno Di Finetti in Italy and Harold Jeffreys .
Hello, we cannot hear you anymore. Dr. Abe, we cannot hear you.
Hello?
Yes, now I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, now you can hear me. Okay.
Okay.
So I've said that the Bayesian inference had remained difficult to implement until the late 1980s and early 1990s, when powerful computer programs became widely accessible and new computational methods like the MCMC, Markov chain Monte Carlo methods, were developed to address these pressing questions in diverse application areas. And since then, you know, a lot of course, controversies began to emanate. Some people believe that the Bayesian method is better than the frequencies method. And then they began to highlight the differences, of which I want to share some with you today. In the Bayesian methods, parameters are fixed and unknown constants, while in the frequencies methods, rather, parameters are fixed and unknown constants, while in the Bayesian method, parameters are stochastic variables. And why in the frequencies method, it does not require prior expert knowledge for analysis. Whereas in the Bayesian method, it requires prior knowledge of parameters, whereby data can transform from prior into posterior distribution using the likelihood function. And this is believed to be a strong advantage of the Bayesian method. The frequencies approach requires large sample size in most cases, whereas in the Bayesian method, you do not require large sample size. In the frequencies approach, OLS or MLE method of estimation is used, whereas the Bayes theorem proposed by the Reverend Thomas Bayes is used to obtain posterior distribution or estimates of parameters. The frequencies approach also places probability on variables, while the Bayesian approach places probability on parameters. So the advantages of the Bayesian approach are numerous. Unlike the p-value approach, Bayesian methods are not confounded by sample size. Secondly, it overcomes the restriction of differences to overcome autocorrelation, non-normality problems, and non-stationarity problems. In the frequencies approach, you have to bother about normality, you have to bother about non-stationarity of the data if it is time series. But then here in the Bayesian approach, there are methods that have been developed to capture all that. Now, the Bayesian approach also helps to understand the level of shifts and dynamic relationships among variables across time. It can capture time-varying parameters, which is what I want to also discuss today. Bayesian components are easy to define and interpret, caters well for missing data and sample sizes due to simulation techniques, and then the Bayesian techniques possesses enormous potentials to address various innovative research questions in various fields. Sometimes ago, when I visited the US, I looked around in the department, almost everyone were Bayesians. The frequencies approach was almost becoming obsolete. And so in this era of data science, we should begin to think about, bringing in or making Bayesian approach part of our main work, so bringing it to the center rather than everything being frequentist approach. Now, there are various fields of research, and there are various research works going on in this modern era. And we know that to do something tangible, your research work would want to follow one of these sustainable development goals. Now, I was thinking of, I heard about climate change, the global warming, and then I began to see how I can apply the Bayesian method to analyze some data on climate or on global warming to address the global warming situation, which is really, really a global concern. Now, the moderation of my work is on this climate SDG 13, which is climate action. And we see that global warming has attracted increased attention among researchers during the last few decades. And this is due to the huge human activities, which has caused a lot of atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide that has risen extensively, sequel to the Industrial Revolution. Now it has reached dangerous levels never seen in the last 3 million years. And may I tell you that 17 of the 18 warmest years in history happened in the last 18 years. So we need to have researchers concentrating more on this area. I have a video here, but maybe time will not permit me to play it, to finish it. Part of my motivation. You can see the countdown. This is the globe. We can see the changes our core.
This portion which is on the top, that is very dark red. So what does that mean?
You said what?
The portion on the top was very dark red color. So
yes, that's the global warming. That's how the concentration of the carbon dioxide, when it gets into the atmosphere, it begins to, warm the globe. And it has been predicted that the whole globe, you can see the color changing as if something is burning. It has been predicted that the whole world will be burnt, will be so warm, that everywhere will be warm if we continue to release carbon dioxide into the air. And see,
right.
Continues to change color. Yeah. By 2089, 2093, by time, you see. So you can see it's replaying. By 2047, 50, look at the color, how it has changed. Almost burnt. So some people are even afraid to have children because they are afraid that the whole world will be burnt someday. So, and that's why a whole lot of research work are concentrating on this area of global warming, climate action. And there are a lot of funding available. This, you can see it has totally changed, almost on top. So,
right.
Yeah, so here are some slight facts about climate change, especially in Africa. Africa emitted more CO2 than US in 2016, about 6 billion tons of CO2 emitted, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And then African nations are the most vulnerable to climate change. They are the least prepared for it, sorry to say. And South Africa is the 14th highest emitter of CO2 in the world. And pitifully, only a few studies are looking at the effect of year-to-year CO2 emissions in Africa on the life of other. Here is a graph here that is showing the annual fossil CO2 emission. These are the different kind of sources, from cement, from gas, from oil. You can see how it is increasing from year to year. Now, I developed a model, a Bayesian model, state-space model, adapted from West and Harrison, 1997, where we have YT. This is the kind of dynamic regression model, Bayesian regression model, which can detect the change point in CO2 and energy consumption. Actually detect this change points between CO2 emission and energy consumption, which is proxied by, the amount of gases emitted, CO2 emission. YT is CO2 emission, and XT represents the process of energy consumption, which I showed in the previous graph, the oil, gas, all the energies born from coal and all that. Now, the state parameter, here are the state parameters, this theta sub t, and of course, xt is the error, and which is also normally distributed with mean 0 and variance v. And then this theta t is also modeled as an autoregressive process with gt as a matrix of a unit matrix, and then wt is the error of this theta t, which is also distributed as between 0 and variance wt. Now, the initial point, the state parameter, is distributed as mean of the initial point, the initial parameter MO, and variance C naught, which we will model by the Markov chain Monte Carlo method. And then we assume that the theta t are time varying and constitute a Markov chain. And then we place an inverse gamma prime on VT, on V, to estimate it. And then I use the discounting parameter to estimate the variance VT, WT. And then because of time, the whole process, the paper was published in a work, which I will show later. And then the results, these graphs here are some of the results that shows the time varying parameter, or what obtains the dynamic change point between CO2 emission and energy consumption. The amount of CO2 that is released into the air due to anthropogenic activities and the energy consumption of people, and then we'll see the variations over the years. This is the slope. This is the relationship. This is what obtains over the years in each country. This first graph here is for South Africa. Why this one? The second one is for Nigeria. From 1970, for instance, to 2010, then you see the relationship between CO2 and energy consumption, CO2 emission and energy consumption. At this point, it was lower. I mean, it was, you can see the movement. But one striking point is this. In around 1994, 1995, maybe due to government policy, where they got their appetite, the independence in 1994, there was a sharp drop in CO2 emission due to human activities or energy consumption. And then it rose again. Maybe after some time, they relaxed and it rose again. And then after some time, relaxed, it dropped again. And then it is predicted to have increased again. And then in Nigeria also, there was a policy, a structural adjustment program that made it drop in around the late 80s. And then it increased again, and it has continued to increase moderately. And so we'll see that Bayesian method is useful in analysis of climate data. And then in prediction, the next work is to predict, to be able to try to predict accurately, and then try to model some changes. So this is still the next stage of the work is still a work in progress, and we need collaborators be able to work on these. And then, of course, we know that getting data is a problem. We can try it for various countries. And someone said that predicting climate change is one of the most difficult things to do because it involves a lot of unpredictable human activities. So, but the conclusion of this is that Bayesian method is fundamentally, and it has been able to trace what was going on in these countries, to a great level of accuracy. And then it can be used to detect change points in climate analysis. It is very flexible, can be used to address the cause of dimensionality in big data analytics, and it provides clear and direct inferences, and it can capture time-varying parameters as opposed to the frequentist approach, and it makes use of all available information, including the prior ones. So here are some published works, like I said, chain point detection in CO2 emission, energy consumption exhaust, using a recursive Bayesian estimation approach. This work was published in Statistics in Tradition, the Journal of Polish Statistical Association in 2020. And then here is another paper containing the methodology, the full methodology, which I couldn't share today because of time. And then here are some other efforts on climate, fractional integration analysis of precipitation dynamics. And then, of course, the last paper, the last citation here is the work of West and Harrison, which popularized the use of Bayesian state-based modeling approach. Now, the point of discussion for future collaborations, how can we contribute further to global warming and climate change research? How can we do a collaboration? I'm open to collaboration and work on some climate data. Can we form research groups on climate research? And probably can lead to some grant-winning proposals on climate research. All hands must be on deck to research in this area of global warming and climate change. Thank you very much for your attention. Once again, I want to thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Awe. This was great. And all that which you have written at the end in your last slide, this was exactly what was coming into my mind, that I was going to ask you, is there any possibility of your team and yourself collaborating with us here in Pakistan? Because Pakistan is also one of the countries where there's a lot of threat of the climate change. So would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, sure. That is why I'm here. I'm very open to that. My team and your team would, it would be great for us to have a collaboration and a long-term collaboration, and which I hope can begin from now.
That would be great. I also want to say to everybody that we have Dr. Alia Ahmad here with us. Welcome, Dr. Alia. Would you like to say something here on behalf of ISSOS and PISTAR?
Hi, hello, assalamu alaikum, everybody. Thank you, Saleha. And I think, again, as usual, you and your team are doing a great job. And we are really, we have started looking forward to these workshops. And I think Dr. Olawale, it was a very, very, I think, interesting presentation and food for thought for all of us. And I was also, interested in if we can have proposals or research grant joint proposals, using, for example, my area is management. So, we can see if we can collaborate on these proposals through ISSOS and PISTAR. So I've got guests around me, so it's quite difficult right now, kids, So, but I have been listening, or it's very interesting. and I hope to, listen to more of it. Okay? Thank you very
Thank
much,
you very
Ryan.
much.
Thanks everyone
Great.
for being here
Thanks
and
for your
making
comment.
ISSOS and PISTAR a success. Thank you so much.
Thanks a
Seriously,
lot,
Thank you.
Dr.
officer, I would be
Alia.
very, very proud of you. Proud of you all. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
So all the other participants, I'm sure some people must be having some questions. So would you like to put some questions to the professor? Dr. Shakila, do you have a question? Or anybody? Yes. Mr.
Comments,
Afzal,
questions?
Awais Sahib, Ms. Komal, Thomas, you are the person who connected me with Dr. Awi. So it's a great contribution of yours. And I really want to admire the way in which you have presented this thing, because it was so effective and at the same time so concise. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Anybody has any question right now? Dr.
And easy to
Raza.
understand. I must say, easy to understand for statistical background people.
Exactly.
And an
Dr.
important issue.
Dr. Raza from Iran. Dr. Raza, would you like to say something here?
Thank you, Dr. Saleha, and thank you, Dr. Avi. It was great, and I enjoyed. However, I had some question. You know, in statistics, we really have there is no best. Like there is no free lunch in statistics, we say. So, as you were mentioning, like for the advantage of the Bayesian, and I observed that you have put some prior information, which is quite common, you know, in Bayesian statistics. So in real data, so which you have presented, in fact, how you propose those prior information, specifically for the C0. So when you actually assume that it is normally distributed. So, I mean, how you assume those prior information? So that's my question.
Dr. Awed, could you show us that particular slide?
Oh, great. Okay. So this is, like we said, in Bayesian method, this is a normal prowl. This is a normal prowl. So we sometimes, you know, it's based, sometimes there are different ways of choosing a prowl information. Sometimes you look at the expert judgment. Sometimes you look at what the nature of the data, and then sometimes you look at what people have done.
Oh yeah, okay. So you said that you look at the nature of the data, then it will become like a frequentist approach, right? I mean, I don't mention this is Bayesian as frequentist, but what I was telling is that all of these methods are kind of data driven, right? So Bayesian approaches itself is nice. Like now people are turning to, for example, machine learning, deep learning, etc. But what I was telling is that in reality, we chose prior based on opinion, like expert opinion. So how that expert opinion comes? So they look at the data again, right? So and even if we so we want to set the priors, still we will look at the data. So means that we are still using you know, very classical way of, in fact, the frequentist statistics.
That's a very good argument. I
Right?
think we would love to shelve that until we have a closer meeting, a research meeting. Then we can argue this more. Yeah.
Thank you.
But what we have, thank you. This is this is based on expert opinion, expert judgment, and proud, of Western Harrison. Yes, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for this. And I think this is the time for me to thank you for this great contribution. And the most exciting thing that I will now be, me and my team will be contacting you for having some meeting so that we can explore the possibility of some joint research project starting.
Yeah.
And also, I would like to invite all the people who are here in this workshop. If anybody is interested in joining that research, which hopefully some project we will start, then
Yeah.
please do let me know. So thank you very much. Maybe you can stop sharing your screen now, Dr.
Okay.
Avi, and I can then share my screen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a
pleasure.
lot. Thank
Yeah.
you. So if I can share my slides. Can you see my slides now again?
Yes.
Okay, I was having this internet problem since morning, and as you know, it got disconnected. So Dr. Sharqa took over that at that point. So I'm very grateful to Dr. Sharqa for this. I just wanted to know whether Dr. Sharqa, were you able to share with the audience the plan for
I'm
today?
going to share.
No, I'm just asking you if you had done it, fine. Otherwise, I can talk about the plan for the day.
I did.
You have done it?
Yes, I did.
Yes, she did.
Okay, then it's fine. So everybody knows that after this keynote address, which was really very, very interesting and effective, we now have this workshop by Mr. Muhammad Jawad Mirza. And the topic of the workshop is pivot tables for data science. I have to get to that slide because it was, I was not able to do it because of this problem. But now I can just quickly get to this one. And then after this, what I'm talking about now. So for this purpose, for this very, very interesting workshop that is coming up, we have with us Mr. Muhammad Jawad Mirza, who's a qualified trainer, consultant on business management and operations, NBDP-SMEDA of the Government of Pakistan. He's an MS Excel trainer. He's a Casio trainer for educational purposes. So now I would like to request Dr. Sharqa Hashmi to present his CV. And I think you would like to perhaps share your own slides, Dr. Sharqa?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Today's workshop, the resource person is Mr. Muhammad Jawad Mirza, qualified trainer, consultant on business management and operations, NBDP-SMEDA, Government of Pakistan, MS Excel trainer, Casio trainer, education. His educational qualifications includes MSc Statistics, MBA Marketing from Allama Iqbal Open University, Islamabad, a postgraduate diploma in MIS, BSc with double maths and stats, FSc, pre-engineering, and matriculation. His areas includes two types. First is academic teaching and corporate trainings. And he spent 33 years in this area. And the other area parallel to this is organizational jobs, which is based on 25 years. First area, academic and corporate trainings. His experience includes SMEDA, NPDP trainer since 2019, approved trainer and consultant. And the second one is IBA Karachi as resource person from 12 June to 19 June, 8 days. He worked as a resource person over there. Next is ComSet's Lahore campus, July 15 to 2019, worked as a resource person. In 2017, he was the resource person for MS Excel as PAM, Pakistan Association of Automotive Parts and Accessories Manufacturers. In 2017 to onwards, he is the resource person for organizational level in-house trainings to resolve the operational problems using MS Excel. From 2015 to 19, he worked for the UOL, University of Lahore, Gujarat campus. From 2001 to onwards, he is the resource person for SMEDA, Small and Medium Enterprise Development Authority, Government of Pakistan. In 2017, Casio certified trainer. In 2014 to 15, for the 1 year, he worked for LLC, Lahore Learning Campus. From 2013 to 18, he was the resource person in Open Day exhibition in Allama Iqbal Open University, Islamabad. 2010, resource person AHAN, AIK Hunar, AIK Nagar, Lahore. In 2003, he was the resource person in NPO, National Productivity Organization, Pakistan. In 2001, he trained the staff of Internal Auditor ISO 2002 at Leather, January, Sialkot. In 1987 to 2001, he worked for different organizations, includes Askar Saudi Computer Institute, Sialkot, Habib Bank Corporate Branch, Sialkot, Comsets, Federal College, Sialkot, and few more institutes in Sargodha and Lahore. In his second area includes the job experiences, which is based on 25 years, includes freelancing, the visiting lecture at University of Lahore, and company technology at work, private limited, and so many other. You can see their years and areas. From 1995 to 2008, he worked in a leather field private limited Sialkot as a senior manager and deputy manager. His contribution includes so many areas from 2000 to 2008. During these 8 years, he worked in so many areas, and these are also the areas where he worked. His experience also includes as a team leader for ISO 2002 certification in ternary unit and helped different departments in applying statistical techniques in the area of quality control. This is Mr. Muhammad Jawad Mirza, and over to you, Mr. Jawad Mirza. So please you carry on. Thank you. I'm going to unshare my screen so that you can share it.
Thank you very much for the detailed introduction. I have shared my screen. For introduction, this organization has been, workshop has been organized for
Mr. Jawad, if you could just hold on for a second, because I think Jawad Sahib is not going to share slides. So I would like to just share this one slide. These are the contents of the workshop. Part 1, Introduction and Importance. What is the title? Pivot Tables for Data Science. So part 1 is the introduction and the importance. Then we have data handling approaches. Then we have lists and tables in Excel. And then we have pivot tables coming, which he says is a magical tool. Think, drag and drop, and it is done. After this, ladies and gentlemen, we will have a short break. But like last time, during this break, I will be talking to you about an exciting workshop series consisting of 5 successive workshops to be conducted after Eid al-Fitr, starting, I think, from the 23rd of May, Sunday, and going up to the 15th of August, Sunday. So 5 workshops that I will talk about during the short break. And after that, we will have part 2. And Mr. Jawad informed me that part 2 requires a little more time than part 1. And in this part, we will have pivot tables from external sources. And if data size is bigger than Excel sheet, then where to go? Then using Power Query for pivot tables. Then we have combining, importing, and cleaning data. And then we have using Power Pivot for big data. So all this, he has a big challenge, that which he teaches in 1 full day or 2 days. He's now going to try to condense it in just the time we have. Thank you very much. And now over to you, Jawad Saib.
Thank you very much once again. Before starting, we must have some introduction about Excel and its functions, and then I will tell why we need pivot tables. First of all, according to my experience in a lot of organizations and years and experience, I used to meet people who talks about Excel, but the slide, the worksheet that I am sharing is about the absolute and relative references. Whenever somebody is constructing a formula, these are basic misconceptions. The concept of absolute and relative references is generally missed by the experts. Therefore, they cannot utilize Excel very well. For example, I will generate this for you. I am typing my data and I want to multiply these values with 100. Generally, people do this. Just referencing the cell multiplied by 100. And they drag it down. Other approach is make this cell as a reference and press enter and drag this down. What happened when a formula is copied down? It is copied relatively. Here the cell reference is this. When I am going to copy this, this is changed. So I need to fix this cell by typing $signs or just pressing F4 key. From a normal keyboard, you can press F4 key, and from laptop, nowadays you function F4. We have made this cell absolute. Now, when I am going to copy this down, I'm pressing Ctrl D. This is multiplied with 100. If I want to check, Alt T U T. This is auditing tool. That this cell is multiplied with this. Now, see this example. This is $1 conversion in rupees, and I have to make a table for conversion. So this is very simple. Generally, people know about this. Now, what about they have a two-way table, and suppose these are numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I again switch to this sheet, and I type 1, 2, 3. This is very, very important. Whenever I will conduct a workshop, I will make big formulas, and I will refer this lecture. Apart from this, I want to sum. I have referenced F10 plus this cell. Even watching, this is my row and this is my column. In statistics, we used to make a 2-die experiment, random experiment, and making a table of sum, but I have taken only 4 values. So when I am going to copy this, what happens? This 2 is not added in this one, so I am getting wrong result. So I have to adjust this again. And what about this? This is again, I double click on the formula. This is, so the situation is same as I did previously, because this cell is added to this cell, and this cell is constant for all these cells. So I'm going to fix it. I'm going to absolute it, function F4. Now I am going to copy this. Now what about this? Can I copy this formula here? Let's check. Control C, enter. Now see what is happening there. These two cells added. I need this cell to be added, and I need this cell to be added. I have corrected my formula and just copied it down. And what about, I have to make the same action for this cell, and then I have to copy this. So this again, if I have 100 columns, like I'm constructing a report for a 1 year, months, or I have different categories, regions, and other variable, other trait on in a column and other in a row, then it's difficult to construct formulas for all the cells and copying it down. No, what I'm going to do, I'm going to develop a magic formula. I will do it with 2 to 3 ways. Just see. This is the first cell, and since this is in the row and this is in the row, so it's this column is fixed. This column F column is fixed for this, for this, for this. So I have to fix the column. Function F4, then F4, then F4. So pressing F4 again and again, first time it makes the whole cell reference absolute, then just it made row absolute, and then it made column absolute. So since it is in the column, column is fixed, so I have made column fixed. What is the situation here? Here row is fixed, so I'm going to make its row fixed. This is $sign before the row means row will not change, this of this cell, and $sign before the column means column will not change. When I will drag it to right side, this F will remain F, and when I drag it down, this 10 will become 11, 12, 13, F remain the same. But what about this? This row will remain fixed. So I'm trying this, just pressing Control R. This is edit field right, and then Control D. That's just a single formula makes my summary report very easy. Now I do it again in different way. This is very important, and in my advanced lectures, I will always refer. This is very important. If somebody is not could not understand this concept, then it is cumbersome, very cumbersome in working spreadsheets. So I have referenced this cell because this is in column. So make the column fixed. F4, F4, F4. 3 times F4 makes the column fixed, and click here, function F4, F4.
I don't have F4 on my keyboard. How do I do it?
Yes, if there is a function, you can use function F4. Otherwise, in a standard keyboard, hold on the function key and then press F4. Hold on the function key and then F4. In some laptops, do not hold, just press function F4. Or otherwise you can type $sign before this and $sign before the row.
Right.
So what I'm doing, I have selected the range first, and then I am constructing the formula, and I'm pressing Control Enter. I'm pressing Control Enter. This makes working in a spreadsheet very fast. People cannot imagine how fast you are working, they cannot think what is going on. They will say that they have not seen working in a spreadsheet very fast like this. So I have constructed this formula. I have made a detail here. Absolute cell reference. This is mixed cell reference. Row is absolute. Row is relative and column is absolute. Here, column is row is absolute and column is relative. Here, column will change. Here, row will change. So I am making this. This is most of my students are here. Mr. Awais, Mr. Afzal. I hired this person in 1996 in an organization, and he has not seen the computer. After 1.5 years, he was a programmer. He developed complicated softwares after learning Excel. He developed purchase systems, and now in UK he is heading SAP queries. He's implementing SAP, etc. And a lot of. So this is very important. So I will send this worksheet to you, so you can master this. This is very, very important. Now I proceed further. Before going to pivot table, we must have, I'm closing this sheet. Some basic understanding of some functions. Because pivot table will most of the time will eliminate the computation labor, but most of the time we need these functions to handle data. As I have written other approaches of data handling. So some 10 or 20 functions are enough to grip your job using only Excel. So this is a simple list. I am using the word list. This is a simple list, and after that I will use a table, term table, and I will demonstrate the difference. So here are some items. Its total is generally you use sum. Generally use SUM sum bracket, and I have made the range is generally we use the sum. You are observing another thing. These are the filters. Generally, no people know about the filters. If I filter item A, and this is selected, but if I already FS, this is, I have written the shortcut keys, it's already FS. So this sum is hidden. So Alt DFF will finish the filter, and Alt DFF will apply the filters. Alt DFF, Alt DFS will show all. So I am filtering it. This is 61. Here I have 390. The total is not 61. What I am going to do this, if I use a subtotal function, SUBTOTAL, subtotal, 9 is the code for sum, and range is as I did for the sum. So what this function will do, subtotal can do a lot of things. If I type 1 here, it will give the average of these values. If I type 2, this will count the values, number of values. And if I type the 3, this will count number and text within the range, and so on for 4, 5, minimum, maximum, standard deviation, sample variance, etc. So this is what this subtotal is going to do. If I am filtering A, the total is automatic. So subtotal will always welcome the filtered information. No, we proceed. You can understand. You understood this. I have used C. I can give other criteria, and this is done. And subtotal will welcome the totals. No, if somebody is working and he was called and asked what is the total for B, what is the total for D, every time he has to filter the information, and he will write these on a paper slip. No, what I'm going to do, I want to make a summary. So I am deleting all these formulas, and so these are the quantities basically. These are the quantities. No, I want to calculate the quantity. We are approaching towards the pivot table, and you will see how simple is that using the feature. It's the most sophisticated, most technological component of Microsoft Excel. So I want to count, but there is a limitation because I want to count only A's. So this is not a simple count. This is a conditional count, and my condition is this. And where are the occurrences is equal to sorry, I want to sum the quantities because A is here. If I click this, I got 15. Okay, so I need 15 here directly without using filter. Is sum if this is the range. I want, this is the criteria range. This is my range. Why I am selecting this? Because whenever I have some more observation, I will insert here or here. This range will be extended. This reference is A2 to A14. Okay, so I'm going to make an error. So this is the range, and this is my criteria. And what is next? And these are the values. This is sum range, third parameter of this function. The SUMIF has 3 parameters, 2 ranges, and 1 criteria. So this is the criteria range, and this is the sum range. I have closed the bracket and press enter. So this is very good. I have checked the sum was no. I'm going to copy this. So what is happening? My grand total is 61, but here is 49. Let's check the formulas. Double click here. Okay. Let's double click here. What is going on? The range is shifted down. So what is the problem? The problem is the same as we have discussed about this. These are not fixed because for every criteria, my range is same. For every criteria, but criteria is changing. This is A, here is B, C, and D, and ranges are fixed. So I am going to fix this range, function F4, and also this range. These ranges should be of equal size. This is function, sorry, selecting this and function F4. Because I am editing the formula, so I have to select the range. If I am typing the data and I am residing here, just pressing F4 key, these both cells will become absolute. I will show you. And now I am going to copy this, Control D, and what is this? This is, so that manager who is giving the query, by filtering the information one by one, now can tell from this very quickly. Now he can calculate the percentage, this cell divided by this cell. And again, I'm not going to make error this time. I'm pressing function F4 because every number in this range will be divided by 61. So 61 is required to be fixed. Okay, this is fixed, and this is Control D. Might be in your worksheet, this will come in this way. A fraction, do not multiply it with 100, just apply this percentage and increase decimal. Now for number, same, I want to count. So this has value count if count will count all the things. This is range, and I want to count the number of items. This, and here I am pressing function F4. Look at here. This is fixed. I have not selected this because when a formula is going to be typed and our cursor is residing here, just press F4, then it will automatically fix a whole range. No, my criteria is residing here. I can also write it as A, B, C in inverted commas, or if there is some value, I can type directly value without inverted commas. So, but I am making it dynamic. So copying this will give me the dynamic results. Again, I'm pressing function. These are the two parameters. I'm not going to apply the SUMIF. This is the criteria. This is the criteria. Not required the third range. This. So A is 3 times. And what is total? I have 11 values. If you see, these are 11 transactions. And 11 items. So all the things here I use some. We can tell you this. This is about something that is generally required in every organization, everywhere. That could be university, college, school, any organization. So we have learned this approach too. I have made the notes for you. You can play. What is this? This is sometime there is some space. There is some extra space. So this is for detection. I am calculating the length using the length function. Further, we see how we'll clean our data with the extra spaces. So these are the methods, auditing tools, auditing methods. You just see because length is 1. So how many characters are there? Having length 2 because space cannot be seen. So this will make error because your A will be 12 and 2 observation. If you see, there are 3 A's, but this is showing 2. So this is a rough work, extra column. I have calculated the length. Now, if I apply filter here.
Jawad, I'm not clear about this length. I'm not clear what is 2 and what is 1.
This is because this is our data is not correct. Somebody has typed space B. This is D. This is B, and I deliberately type 3 spaces here. So I cannot judge from the data because my summary report is not correct. Here I have used a spillover formula. I'm just deleting this formula. This is a big area of Microsoft Excel after 2018, during 2018. So if I type A and B and C, you will see that these are calculated. But these, how we can get rid of this? I have calculated the lengths of the characters because each item is of length 1. So I have calculated is equal to len length of this text. This is and 2. So where there is 2, there is something wrong. So I'm going. This is B because filter will not catch this. Filter will trim and then display. So I can correct this. If I extend my filter, I can select greater than 2 or greater than 1, etc. And I can make corrections. Now I should move towards the introduction of the. So, however, this is very good formula, but you see the complexity in the formula. It doesn't mean that we just seeing the complexity of the formula, we stop using them. Most of the time, we don't prefer pivot tables to be used on some space. You will see in my latest slides. So this is what we are going to is we summarize our data. So I have an example. This is sales data, and it's notch, and this is you can say what is the big data? I think I studied statistics with examples of 10 observation, 20 observation, 30 observation. If more than that, then that question doesn't appear in my paper or exam. So it means the data that is beyond my control or beyond my capacity of the calculator, for me, that is a big data. So develop an approach to handle small data sets with a bigger approach, with a dynamic approach, with an intelligent approach. Just like in mathematics, if somebody is ordered or told that sum 1 plus 2 plus 3, he will calculate and give 6. If after a short while it is said to him that calculate the sum up to 10, what he will do, 1 plus 2 plus 6, and what is n into n plus 1 over 2? I think this is also handling a big data approach. So I have generated a random data. This is about this is my heading, and if I shift control down arrow, just putting here shift control down arrow. So this is how many records I have, 111, and definitely it is difficult to handle manually. So there are different regions. I have not made any condition for the salesperson to work in fixed area. Any person can work in any area. This is an assumption for this data. Might be some person sitting here from marketing side that how a person can work in all areas, but this is the time when people can do this. So these are the values. After a short while, I will teach you how to generate these data randomly. So if I see this example previous, this is a single criteria. This is single variable. Now I have two variables, and definitely my layout might be like this. I want person A, person B, person B, person C, person D. Sales quantities, this is not the amounts, these are quantities. The total of this is the same. I can do it with SUMIF. And layout might be this. My manager, I say that east, west, north, south is the place region, and what is the regional total. So I will write my regions and type the sums. Generally, what people do use the filter command to get the total of A. This is total of A. I have used subtotal. 3, 1 is A. They write this on his paper slip. This is practical. This in organizations where we see Microsoft Excel open everywhere in every desktop. But people used to do this, just write that on paper, then again. They will complete and task. They accomplish the task. So this could be the one layout. Okay. Other one, region. Okay. Region. This is regional summary. All the regions here and their totals are here. And the layout could be like this. We have the regions on here and the salesperson here. Output, and it's transposed to. If we have a lot of salesperson, then definitely we will prefer a salesperson with come vertically, and the regions are 4, they will come horizontally. So this is very cumbersome. So if the senior is asking, what is a total quantity sold by person A in West? So look at the complicated formula. This is we are using SUMIFS. This is the extended step of sum. This is again a magical formula. And when this was introduced, we became very happy that we can sum on multiple criteria. SUMIF is using a single criteria, but SUMIFS is using multiple criteria. if I see here, you can later on, you can observe I have done all the things for you here. I have used SUMIFS, and go to my first lecture. These I have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it not the same? I am deleting all the cells because time is limited. I can develop it for you because I used to develop such formulas very quickly. So what is the structure is little bit different. In SUMIF, we have placed the sum range at last, but here sum range is here. Now, what is this? This is my criteria range 1, and this is my criteria here. And what I did with the criteria, because ranges will be fixed for all, I have fixed this F because these regions are coming in F, and this is the range for the salesperson. This is the range for region. In column B we have regions. In column A we have persons. You can also type this expression before this. Order is not important. We must give all the criteria. So this is a range for the regions, and this is the single region written here. And observe it. What I did, column absolute, because this is in column. Just remember the words. If the things are coming in column, make column absolute. Function F4, F4, F4. If the things are coming in a row, your criteria is in a row, then make the row absolute. Definitely. Apart from pivot table, we will enjoy pivot table, but you will always enjoy SUMIFS too. Many of people are here. Mr. Weiss is here. I am also giving consultancy to his organization. We did a lot of big things and doing different businesses using Excel, pivot tables, Power Query, etc. So what I have done, I have developed this formula. So if I copy this formula and shift right arrow, Control R, we can copy Control C, Control V, and even we can copy this. So you can see the summary is updated. What is happening with C? Because there is no C. If this is a pivot table, and now I will make a pivot table after this cumbersome exercise. But this is not the cumbersome. Learn sum is 2. If you want to save your life, if you want to save your nanoseconds, learn SUMIF, learn COUNTIF. Do not learn alone. Teach these to your students. These are my students. Mr. Afzal saw his computer first time. Now he's watching, seeing the big assignments. Is I think number 2. Mr. Weiss and another participant. He's in Microsoft. He was a poet. He's 1998. He learned Excel, and after 2 years, there was an email. Sir, you are the person who told me about the computer. No, Bill Gates has hired me for the last 19-20 years. He's in Microsoft, and he's a big guy there. So what is, because C is not there, so C is 0. I have A, B, D, E. A, B, and D. Sorry, D and E. So what is happening? Pivot table is changing automatic. Sorry, not pivot table. This is SUMIF formula. So this is the advantage of the SUMIF formula, COUNTIF formula, subtotals, because they change dynamically. Your pivot table will not change automatically. No, I'm going to construct a pivot table for you. And next, I will teach you how to generate random data. Then you will develop your own pivot table and tell me you are succeeding now. So,
Mr. Jawad,
yes.
I wanted to know, is this the start of part 2, or is it
no.
Still part 1?
This is still part 1. Because in part 1 I have mentioned some pivot table, and definitely in part 2 a pivot table will go along. Power Query, we will learn Power Query for other things too, but that results of the Power Query will be used in pivot tables.
So I would like to request you. To please define for us what exactly is meant by these two words? What is the meaning of the word pivot here? And then
Yes.
also the other request is that as soon as the other request is that as soon as part 1 is completed, please do let me know so that I can announce the 5-6 minute break. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you. So this is my list. So to make a pivot table, what I have to do this, because my data is connected with these rows. This is not away from this. So I have to select my data. I will insert a pivot table. This is from table or range. This is my table, a range. This is at this time. This is a simple range. In Power Queue, you will see tables. So now, if you are assigned an object, you don't know about that object, and your senior or some person wants your opinion about that object, and you don't know about that object. So what you will do, if the object is handy, you will pick that object and see it from here and there. You will see here, you will see. So you will revolve, you will rotate it. If object is bigger, then definitely you will go around that object. Pivot tables are just like your data is an object and you want to explore that. Pivot table is a tool like you hold that object in your hand and start seeing from all the angles. And after seeing that, you can make some opinion, you can make some judgment, you can make some decision about that object. Similarly, the data alone cannot tell anything. In 1998, I was delivering a lecture. In a college, a banker was sitting, waiting for the room to be evacuated, and just after the lecture, I was teaching pivot table. Just after the lecture, he came in the room and said that, "Sir, what you had done, this is the magic. For such assignment, we always had taken 2 months, 1 month, because you had the data and just make drag and drop, the report is ready." So that was introduction of pivot table from some outer side. So insert a pivot table. This dialog box will come. Select a table or range. Select a table or range. So this is giving us entry to the pivot table. This is step 1. Table, because I have selected all the data, so it is automatically displayed here. If the data has not been selected, so I can make a selection of the data here. For example, if I am going to delete, and I click here, shift right arrow, control, hold on the control with the shift, press down arrow. So data is selected. I want choose where you want the pivot to be placed. Your pivot table is a summary table. So he's asking where you want to place the summary. So new worksheet or existing. I need this in existing, and if I will select, I will tell the location where I will place that summary. Okay, so this is we have already filled build the tables many times, so I am selecting this cell. So this will start constructing the pivot table here. So this is okay. This is the layout of the pivot table. No, just think. First, I have thought this layout. I need the salesperson's total. I need the region's total. So think, drag that field and drop. Pivot table is just away from your thinking. Pivot table is just away from your thinking. No, first I need to summarize. My manager is asking. I have here 4 regions here. One is here. Here are my fields, my variables. I am going to select salesperson, and I am dropping this in row area. I am dropping this in row area. So what happened to this pivot table? Dynamically, it has listed all the data unique, that is unique here. And what is the next step? Next step is place the quantity in values. What happened? Where the COUNTIF, where the SUMIF? No need. No need. So if the person is not good in formulas and he's enjoying some executive position, definitely his work is not to do some clerical or learning some things. And this pivot table is just a gift for him. So no think again. No think again. Insert a pivot table. You copy this. I have copied this pivot table here. So at this time, I am leaving this region here and salesperson and deleted. The summary is ready. Respect to. Now, you want to know that the total quantity sold in East is 202. What is the breakup of this? And similarly, A has sold 3187 units, and you want to dig down the detail of this breakup of this region wise. So you need regions here. And what about this? You need persons here. So just go to that pivot table and select region and leave your region in the column. So what happened? This is ready. So if you compare, this is A in East is 115. Just go to the data. Go to the data. A is 115. Okay. So I am changing it to 131. 131. So here A was 115. What will happen? Refresh it. This is 202, not change. This is 11. This is refreshing this. This must be changed. I don't know why this is. This is 5824.
Come to the column AB, not this one. This is the other table.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is column AB. Thank you very much. You have critical eye on the table. Right click and refresh. No, this is not changing. What happened with this? Is our data source? This is okay. Oh, okay. We are seeing this is A in north, but we are observing it A in east. So definitely its impact will come here. We will change A in east. Select A and select east. Sorry, I have selected other than the east. East. So make this 197. Okay. So this is you must know the filters, subtotals, so that you can compare your results. You can reconcile your results. So right click and refresh. So this will come good. So this is magic of our pivot table. We have compared it with SUMIF. we have compared with some ifs. We had compared with subtotal results, and for this type of, because this is giving a single result, but our pivot table is giving a lot of results. So
Dr. Mr. Jawad, what I have understood is that the pivot table is basically what we in statistics call the frequency table.
yes, this is the frequency test. Yes, we can construct a lot of other things. We can construct frequency table. We will also construct a sum table. This is a summary table, you can say. Frequency sum. We can also we will. I have some examples. We can calculate the cumulative, relative frequencies, etc. And we can do a lot with this table. So this is about the. No, I'm switching to that. I decide that each participant should make their own tables. No, I'm switching to a data to be generated.
Dr. Saleha, it's a type of contingency table.
Yes, exactly,
right.
exactly.
Okay.
If you have this is its search aspect is if you have questionnaire and you have filled that and put that data in SPSS. In SPSS, you made cross-tab queries. Actually, this is the cross-tabulation.
Right.
No, I want to share an example. This is close the files. So this is very important. So master this. This is stable, and if any other things, one thing is remaining. A person came to me. He was working in a multinational company. He was a manager, and their offices were in different countries. He had a pivot table, but data was hidden. So he dialed me and came to me, and he said that always my company send me a pivot table. They do not send the whole data. How can I get the whole data? So I invited him on a lunch. We did a lunch and made some gupshup. And then what I did, that just double click on the final total. Just double clicking on the final total, the backend data in a table form. This is a table form. Backend data is in table form is there. If you double click on this 302, the records, the data that is behind this 302 will be pasted separately here. So you can, a manager, is it not good for a manager? Because when some summary is on your table, you are observing your summary, you are the decision maker, you definitely call your subordinate that give me detail. So there is no need to call your subordinate. Just if you want the detail of A and East, just double click this. So it's A did what A did in East. So this is these values are making 215. So this is another magic of the pivot table. So understand the person that came to me for getting the data, and this was just a double clicking, matter of double clicking. So these are different reports. No, another thing that I have missed. If what is this? What is this? I have regions and I have different people here, but I do not need a collective report of all the persons. I need the individual reports of all the person. Just I will drag this and leave it here. So what happened to my pivot table? Salespersons will go on the page. This is a filter area. So this is a page of a pivot table. It's all. This is A. So this is only the report for A. This is this is salesman wise reports. So if you want to calculate the totals of A and B, just select multiple items and clicks. So it's your choice which person you need. So this is the detail for A and B, and if you select all, this is for all. Similarly, you can do it if you put salesperson here. This first priority is the region, and in that region, who worked A and B worked in East, A, B, D, E worked in North, and A, B, D worked in South. These are their totals, the subtotals, and at the end we have grand total. Every time you will see 5924, and what we learned using our subtotal and other things. Use also these. Use filters, use subtotals, use SUMIFs, use COUNTIF. These are 20, 30 functions. I think Mr. Afzal, who is in UK, he was an honor when he went to UK into, I think in 2003. His company offered him with full fee. There's a SEMA. This is path to the chartered accountant, and he, I think, did his SEMA on the on the expense of his company. So this is what was given to Afzal. Afzal present that here it is, here it is, here it is. So these are the magics that Afzal took from here. And Mr. Farooq is also working in a big organizations, and everywhere in Pakistan he's moving. He's conducting audits. He's working in a Mr. Farooq, where you are working nowadays? Hello.
Yeah, right now I'm working in my own company.
Yes. So you are enjoying all the things that you were.
Yes, sir. I just.
Afzal was with me in. Mr. Awais is enjoying his 6 or 7 companies. Director IBA came here and took him to Mr. Awais' office. Okay, so they
are you listening to me, sir?
Yes, I'm listening.
Yes, I was just reminding when we prepare Huawei invoices and use COUNTIF SUMIF.
Just the game up. You can.
Yes, yes.
I have captured full Pakistan. I was declared as a terrorist for FBR because these are the tools. I had big data in 2000, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I switched to the telecom industries. And Huawei was a period for me to a lot of time. Government policies, SROs were difficult to issue, and I have nothing. Just these tips. So I'm making this summary. So we are working on page wise. I'm sorry.
Mr. Amjad, I want to say that I need to have a break. So if you could wind this one up quickly, then we'll have a short break.
Okay, thank you. Just give me 2-3 minutes. I will wind up. So you can play. So what I was saying, I was giving an example of I am going to purchase a mobile, going to the shop and seeing from here and here, and they make some decision. So what is your opinion? Anybody share from a seniors, from the foreigners, that what do you say about the pivot tables? That is it not like that just pivoting, rotating, revolving your data and extracting the decisions from here? In many companies, I have developed a lot of reports, and they were enjoying those reports. A single person, a lot of person were behind. Single person, and he cannot give answer of a query, but no, a single person is more enough for all the people. They cannot they cannot say nothing to him. Everything is ready. Nothing is to be prepared. Just think, drag and drop. No, I have used the page filter. You can make page for the regions, and this is north. Okay, this is south, okay, etc. So this is about the pivot. No, I want to give you an example that you should think over to construct your own pivot table. You will make your data on your own, and you will play with your pivot table with a single variable. And because most of us are statisticians, even Afzal, Avesa, and other all BS, MS in computer sciences, they all study statistics, and definitely there are my teachers after Saleha and other, they are very senior to me. Our statistics comes originated from the raw data. So I am opening a file and we will play with this file. This is workshop 01 PT mean pivot table summarizing raw data. Okay, so I am opening a worksheet. So our statistics starts from raw data. I still remember when I started studying my graduation in statistics first time. So I saw a raw data of 60 apples, and that was that examples move to every chapter. So this is the data, but we are talking about the big data. So it is difficult to get the big data. We have to go to the internet. We can extract big files. Definitely that files might collapse the memory of your computer. Last day, I developed in a Power Query 2 raised to power 31 minus 1 records. This is about 2.14 billion records. But when I was extracting that, it took about 1 hour, and it stopped the processing. In 26 minutes, they did data 2 billion. I will give you an example of how much the billion is. So we are going to make data. How? This is my X. You can also just see it and make your own data. I am going to generate random numbers, 100 random numbers. I am typing a formula, just making a bigger size. It is equal to RANDBETWEEN, ran between 1, 100. This is generating. I still remember my masters when my teachers used to say, draw 100 random numbers, draw 1000 random numbers, make a frequency distribution of this. If the random digit is 1 digit random numbers. So this is, sorry, this is, I have typed RAND, ran between. This is a built-in formula. This is, and I'm dragging it down to say this is starting from 2, and definitely I will go to the 101. I have generated data. Now what I'm going to do, I have some classes 1, and then add 10, subtract this minus 1, sorry, and control R. What I did, I typed 1 and I added 10 in here. Okay, I subtracted 1 from this and copied this formula to right and go down this, and since I have 100 numbers, so these are my lower limits. This is my lower limit and this is my upper limit. What I'm going to do is I want to calculate the frequency COUNTIF COUNTIFs, because I have 2 criteria, COUNTIFs. What is my COUNTIFs? So criteria range is this function F4, comma. No, I want to calculate greater than 1. First, I want to calculate the counting numbers greater than 1. This is, I am making a criteria greater than equal to 1, and I am concatenating it with my 1. So what is this? This is, I made a criteria. I had just tried to type it greater than 1. This is back in 20-25 years. I learned this. So making a criteria. No, this range will be the same I'm copying it here, but I will change this to E. This to E. And making it less than or equal to. So what I'm going to do, I want to count all the numbers that lies between these two values, both inclusive, 1 to 100. So I have used, because I have two conditions, so I have used COUNTIFs. Already I have given example of SUMIFs and COUNTIFs. You can see, and that's right too, but I'm using here. So learn, beside pivot table, learn these two. Otherwise you cannot do big magics. So I'm closing this. So what is happening? Control D, my frequency distribution is ready. Okay. So another formula is, I think I have Excel 365. If you can try and you can see frequency function and you can apply from your, but because I have spillover approach, so frequency, and this is data array, comma, and these are my ending bins. So what happened is, this is another approach. This will work with, I think you can try it, learn it for 2013. If you're using 2013 or 2010, frequency table will work, because I have not that version. I have the latest version, Excel 365. So this is spilling over. Another approach is spillover. So this is also, this is frequency distribution, and this is frequency distribution. So this is a special case. Everybody do not know about this, how to use this frequency. No, we should try. So you can try this later on, but I think you should just having this in break, you can try just develop random numbers, and then no, I'm going to use, I am saving this formula here, and because every time when I'm doing something, it is changing. This is function F9. Function F9 is calculate every time. Function F9. And if you want, all sheets are recalculated, or worksheets in a workbook. If you want to calculate a single sheet, then shift F9 or shift function F9. So I want to fix the data. I want to log the data from changing. Just select all the data, shift control down arrow, clicking on the first cell, shift control down arrow, control C, copy it at the same place, copy it here as a value, copy it here as a value. I did control C, selected the range, I pressed control C, and then I place the cursor, right click my mouse and got a shortcut and select this. In older version of this, you can pay special, and I did it value. Basically, this is the equivalent of that. We will use it. So this is locked. But for future use, I have saved this formula here. So you can change the range 1 to 100, 100 to 1000, etc. These are uniform random numbers. So what I'm going to do, I will just place my cursor, because no data on right, no data up. Pivot table requires heading. Must. If there is not heading in your data, just type data X, Y, Z, anything. So pivot table requires a field name too. I'm going to pivot table. It's automatically selected the range. I'm not putting in new worksheet. I'm putting it here. This is same step. Where the data, where want to place the something. So two questions only. Where is your data and where you want to place in a new worksheet. So I'm giving location here. Okay. This is little bit different. Ma'am, you will enjoy this. What's going on here?
Mr. Jawad, we have to take a break now. It's already almost 4 o'clock, and we will not be able to, let you have more time now.
Oh,
we need a break, please.
Okay, just allow me to drag, because I am holding my X and is waiting to be dropped, and my X is dropped. my axis dropped in row area. And what I'm going to do, there's another interesting feature. I want to make groups. This is group, and I want to start it from 1 to 100 and interval of 10. Just I have made my bins, my groups, and again drag this X to values. What is this? It's not a magic. It's not a magic. When I saw Excel in 1995, I said to my student, Mr. Faisal Bukhari, who is in Microsoft now for the last 19 years, I said that statistics should be taught using Excel. Just give your student 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts on its paper. After getting the concepts, switch that person to the, and you can generate Faisal Bukhari, you can develop Muhammad Afzal, you can develop Awais, Mr. Awais, you can develop Mr. Muzammil. Mr. Muzammil is my younger brother. He's also participating here, and he's working in Saudi for the last 5 years. For the last 5 years, he's saying his contract is going to be extended. His contract is going to be extended. All the families are back to Pakistan due to economic conditions of Saudi Arabia, but we sent his family to Saudi Arabia. So is it not a magic? So, my invitation to all teachers, because I have developed a pace, not for the teachers. This is for the teachers to further copy these concepts to your students. Engage your students in your assignments. I taught in university. I requested most of the teachers, civil engineer, software engineer, computer science, that give me, discuss the concepts of your subject. I will develop an Excel sheets and give you students, must give a question in a paper, whether that subject is what. Give question so that you can develop more. Thank you very much, ma'am. This is my break.
Okay.
I will, okay.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. We can see that you are, as we say, passionately in love with Excel. And
Yes.
I hope that some others have also now fallen in love with this, with this wonderful.
Definitely. I pray for all.
I'd like to announce the break. So people who would like to take a little break, you can do so, but because already we are over time, and Mr. Jawad has so much more to teach us. Therefore, I will be utilizing this break to talk about this another very, very exciting workshop series which is coming up. So
Okay,
I would like to share my screen, and Mr. Jawad, you can stop
Okay.
sharing for a short while. So now I would like to go to that particular slide during this short break, which gives you information regarding this workshop series. So it is this is another exciting time for us.
Yes.
Inshallah, this will be coming up. So this is a workshop series on data science ideas for aspiring statistical consultants.
Yes.
And it's going to be 5 workshops. Inshallah, 23rd of May, and then after 3 weeks on the 13th of June, after another 3 weeks on the 4th of July, after another 3 weeks on the 25th of July, and after another 3 weeks on the 15th of August. So it coincides very much, a lot of it coincides with the summer vacation time in Pakistan, at least. And the question is, who is going to conduct it? So ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be conducted by the following 2 persons. These are 2 eminent statisticians from the United Kingdom, Professor Roger Stern and his son, Dr. David Stern, both of whom are into statistics. And the son, many of you, or at least some of you, have already met him or known him, because upon my invitation, he was in Lahore for the 15th Islamic Countries Conference on Statistical Sciences that was held in December 2019, prior to COVID. And he was here for those few days, and he gave the keynote address. And also he was in the meetings, different meetings that we were having with him. And he gave a lot of very good ideas.
Yes.
But Professor Roger Stern is obviously, he is his father, and he's a renowned person in the United Kingdom. And obviously he has much more experience even than David. So I've already had some conversation with them, and we are excited about it. Hopefully we are going to see many of you at this workshop series. This is the announcement, and it's not the end of the short break. You can all have 2 or 3 minutes to, to rise from your chair and to have a walk. And we will meet again at 4:09, not 4:10, but 4:09 p.m. In my laptop, it says 4:06 p.m. right now. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Before I request Mr. Jawad to continue, I would like to share with you the plan of the day one more time. So if you see here on the right side, Mr. Jawad will be continuing with this workshop. Here it says that from 4:36 to 4:45, we have the question answer session. I wonder if Mr. Jawad will be able to complete what he has to give us in this time. So maybe we can ask him to continue till 4:45 p.m. And then the 8 minutes that we have for feedback from participants, that can be utilized for the question answers. As far as your feedback is concerned, ladies and gentlemen, it is very important for us. So please, I'm requesting you, please do fill out the questionnaire that Dr. Wasim will be sending to you, or the Google or the link that he will be sending to you. In whatever format Dr. Wasim sends to you the feedback form, please do fill it. After that, Mr. Haris Khurram will be presenting the vote of thanks, followed by the closing remarks. So what I'm saying in a nutshell is that Mr. Jawad, you now have time until 4:50, you should say. 4:50, not later than that. Thank you very much. So please continue. So Mr. Jawad, you can unmute your mic. Please unmute your mic and share your screen again.
Hello.
Yes.
So these were three approaches. I have generated a random data. So no, there is no question, because you have 1 million rows, more than 1 million rows. You can extend that formula to the last row, and that can make the distribution. Just you have to do the extending the range. Just the extension of the range will accommodate the frequencies here and here. And definitely for pivot table, if you have a lot of data, the limit is this last row. You can go. This is pivot table analysis, and this is pivot table design. Okay, so under pivot table analysis, whenever your range is greater, your data is beyond the range, you will go here, change the data source, and extend your range here. As this is sometimes people develop their pivot tables, and after that range, they start entering more data. And whenever they refresh, the pivot table will not respond. They will not be updated. So problem is that they do not extend the ranges. Point is that you can extend some rows.
Can we refresh it?
Yes, we can refresh. For example, I am going to generate random numbers again. Control V. These are random numbers. I am right-clicking, refresh. Right-clicking and refresh. Right-clicking. The demerit of when we are using the random numbers, at the same time when we are refreshing, the refreshed pivot table is one step back, but these frequencies are according to the fresh data. So that is why when you're using random number, just fix those numbers. Control C. Another trick for another interesting trick, just copy this data as a value. Hold on the mouse, drag it from right side. Sorry, I have not mouse at this time. This is right. I am right. Press the right button and drag it here, and then again drop it here. What is the difference? I'm not holding down the mouse button on the left side. I am holding down the button on right side and just drag, place here, receive it, and release the mouse button, right mouse button. Say move here, copy here as a value only. You just set the data that you are taking away, just like you say child that come with me, I am going to take you somewhere else, and just refuse that and drop the home again without taking. So I'm doing this. So the formula has vanished. So this is another tricky way. So just refresh it. This table is refreshed, and if I change the data, I'm making it 100, 100. Sorry, 100. So definitely this 100 this should become 7 to 8. This become 8. So this is count. Another thing is this. You can also drag it here. This is again counting, and third time I'm also dragging it here. What I'm going to do? This is count. I can change the computation from here. Field setting, value field setting, count, sum, average, etc. You can do this. So these are, and another aspect that I can sum the values within the range. I can count the values and other things that are calculations that I'm going to do. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do another thing. Show value as percentage of the column total. Show value as percentage of the column total. What is this? This is basically, it's not the, if I change it to journal format, is it not the relative frequency? 10 divided by 100, 14 divided by 100, because I have fixed 100, 10 divided by 100 is 10%, 14%, 1%. And what I'm going to do here, show value as running total in of what? Of variable x. So this is 10% and 14%. This is cumulative. This is cumulative. You can make a cumulative frequency distribution. You can make percentage, etc. So you can play with these things. So at one place I did different things. So this is my data, original sheet. Using COUNTIF, I had done this for you. These are the nodes. I have constructed the relative frequency, cumulative frequencies using frequency function. I have calculated the frequency distribution, and using the pivot table, I have calculated all these things. So you can see and you can try it. Now I proceed to the next node save. I'll do not close this. Go to the material is 4, and now we are going to play with bivariate data. Here you are seeing we have two variables x and y, so you can also generate random data using constructing just select this. How I am selecting? Shift right arrow, holding down the control key, press down arrow. It will jump and go to the last value. So I am replacing all the entries with my RANDBETWEEN, ran between 1, comma. I am using the uniform random numbers. If somebody is interested, this is 1, comma 100. There is another area from where you can draw binomial normal random numbers. I will also give you the trick to develop those random numbers. So this is my two variables x and y, and I'm going to select, because no data is here, no data is here. This is alone x and y. Insert pivot table for range. This is my range, and where I want to insert the summary in the existing worksheet. Here click OK. Just see, I want my x here. So you have seen all the values of x are here. Make a group, so 1 to write 100. Okay. And what you will do with y, place this in column, right click and group it. This is grouping is very interesting, especially when you are dealing with dates. It automatically converts in months, weeks, years. This is 1 to 100, and this. Now take any variable and drag it here. Your bivariate frequency distribution is ready. So this frequency distribution, look at this frequency distribution, how hard working I have done. You can learn, and if somebody cannot understand, so you can contact me. I will give you my telephone number. I will give you my email address. You can discuss with me. But I have lower boundaries and upper boundaries, use both variables and calculated this. So this is, if you see, I have compared. I can compare this. If you refresh this table to refresh, sorry, pivot table is changed, because the pivot table for this I have renamed the worksheets. So delete this pivot table. I have a method of reading. A pivot table is just copy blank cell on a pivot table. Otherwise, it is difficult to handle that pivot table. So yeah, now I'm placing this pivot table here for you when I will send you all the worksheets. Sorry, what's happening? So there is a small trick of comparing the values. For example, here I have 9. You can compare two values just clicking this value equals what is the cell reference of this cell P. This is P7. AG7 is equal to P7. P7. Enter. Because this value is not equal to this value because our numbers are not fixed. This table is incorporating the fresh numbers, fresh random numbers, but this table is one step away from that. Control C, right click, paste as value. The text and formula is converted into number. Now I will refresh my table. This is 15 and this is 13. So I will see it. I will remove the error from here, and this is an easy way of comparing two values. Instead of comparing this is equal to this, this is equal to this, just
ranges of both tables are not same.
Yes, there might be difference. I will because here we are starting from 1. You can group it with 1, 200, 1, 200, and 13, 13, 10, 10, 10 equal. But instead of seeing this, I generally do this cell, and I will not click in the pivot table because it will type get pivot data command. This is P7 is equal to P7. Enter. The values are equal. So I'm also comparing the results of pivot table and all values are same. So the results from the traditional COUNTIF formula, COUNTIFs are 2 criteria. You should also learn this because many of the reports in organizations requires this approach. So this is another thing. Now I'm going to close file save and moving towards the next.
Mr. Jawad, I need to interrupt here. I'm worried about the time. Even if we extend the time by 10 or 10 minutes, maybe we can, but people have to leave, so we can't extend it too much. So okay. I can see in your part 2, it says pivot tables from external sources. And then you say if data, please let me finish. If data science is bigger than Excel sheet, then where to go? And then you say using Power Query for pivot tables. And then it is saying combining, importing, and cleaning data. And then lastly, using Power Pivot for big data. So I would like to request.
So I will drop the Power Pivot for big data because I think the people are on initial level of pivot table. So this pivot table can handle a single table, but Power Pivot can handle multiple tables at same time. So sometimes that is required in organization, and in another workshop or the part of some workshop, I can give a small lecture on this.
But you will introduce Power Queries,
yes,
right?
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
Please
I'm going. This is general query for the teachers. Generally, they calculate grades. I have grade. I have not taken the marks. I just generated the grades using VLOOKUP formula. These are the grades 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is my working formula. This is VLOOKUP. I am generating a code from 1 to 7 using random number, and that code is going here. If the code is 2, code will go here in this range H. This is H. Sorry, the formula is changed. No, this formula is, you can copy it from here to, there is new function formula text that will do this. So this is I2 to J8 one extra J9. I have taken up to this. So this code will go in the first column of this here, this 2, and resultant column is 2. The result will be A. If 1 will be generated, the result will be A plus. If 3 will be generated, then I have generated the text data using the random numbers. So these are because I want my desire was to play with the grades, and teachers need this frequency distribution when they compile the class result. They have to submit in this way, and for this purpose they have to count this how many of A, how many. This is very difficult. Generally, I saw most of my colleagues doing this, and whenever I submit result, this formula went with them. So this is formula, and just what I did, I just used the COUNTIF. I just used the COUNTIF, and here I have again the same thing is repeating, solving multiple problems. This is my range and this is my criteria, and and on the other hand, I did the same. I took this in a pivot table. I'm not going to develop this pivot table because this is already developed. You can try it. This is all possible values. I have placed the grades here, and then I have placed grade and then grades and then grades, and I have changed the names. This is very simple. When you go field setting, you can type, and you can finish count of A, count of B. You can type the name. So these are frequencies, these are the percentages, and if there's not the 100, you can give the how much percentage for the specific grade, and this is the cumulative. So may I close this sheet and go to the next. You took the concept. Another approach is this. If I use the formula, because this formula is depending on this table. So if you want to get rid of this table, just develop once, or directly, this is my formula. I am placing this formula here. I am double clicking it. I will just select the range and press shift, function F9. Function F9 means is a recalculation key, but when we are editing some expression, some formula, and selected expression will be converted into its data. So this is how this is 1 comma mean another column, next column. This is next row, semicolon next row on 2. This is same. So no, if I use this formula and copy, I don't need this table, VLOOKUP table. I can immediately apply the VLOOKUP, because VLOOKUP is very, very important tool. Solve a lot of problem in the industry and in university, etc. So you can also use this formula. So this formula is here. I am copying the text of this formula, Control C, and you can also try formula text, and just click on that formula. I don't know, you can check, because I have this function in Excel 365. Might be you are not enjoying with it, but checking is formula text. And when this worksheet will go to you, if this is not working, this will give an error. But you can see, and this is the future formula for you. So I am closing this and moving to, this is my file 3. And now file 4, summing sales data with SUMIF, and here this is same, we did that. And this is again one thing, this is also discussed. One thing you can add a product to here. You can add I have just copied the formula. How I have added the product? I have taken This whole workshop is magic of random numbers, because practice needs more and more data of different types. If you are expert in generating random numbers, so I have prod. This is random number. I want to build 6 products. This will generate random number from 1 to 6 and format that number into 0, 1. If you will get 1, this will display 0, 1. And what is this? This is prod. And what is this? This is text. Okay, so text is combined. Text, this is the number, and text is formatting that number in 2 digits and combining that with prod. So you see, these are, copy this formula downward. You have 3 products. I am copying this formula here for you to see and to use, and fixing this Control C, right click, paste as value. No, you can develop similar table, but we can observe, we can explore, we can rotate in different dimensions. One dimension is sales, other dimension is product, and other dimension is region. Whenever I have some advanced query workshop, I will combine different tables. We previously do it Access or computer software, and developing a query depending on different tables, extracting the data in a single table or directly to a pivot table. So we will use this. So you can also play with just insert pivot table and do this drag and drop. Just play. Nothing will happen. Nothing will happen. Just play with the data, drag and drop. You will be expert soon. Don't afraid of pivot table, because many people are afraid of this and they spend years and years without pivot table. No, you can understand the situations that we have wasted a lot of our time in life. So in 1998, I started saying that learn Excel and increase your life. People used to say how we can increase our life. This is not possible. I said that the time you are wasting, you have saved the time and included in your life. So that was my logic. This is now we are another example. You should take it assignment for the students. If you are stuck in somewhere, you can directly contact me. Here I have generated a random experiment and then simulation of a binomial experiment. Generally, we give our children piece of papers, draw all possible sample of size 5 when 5 comes tossed. So this is, you can say, I have not typed all this because I don't want to work at all. Therefore, I learned Excel. I'm not happy to do any job and work. Here we have 2 to the power 5, 32 outcomes, 16 with H and remaining 16 with T. And I will copy this pattern from this fill handle. No 16 head, no 8 head, and 8 tails. 8 head and 8 tails. Now go to up, shift control down arrow, just double click this will fill. 4 heads, 8 heads, half, 4 heads, half, 16 head, 8 head, and 4 heads. 4 heads and 4 tails. I think in sampling distributions, we just give 1, 2, 3 questions. Then we shift those people, those children to Excel, and they will become Muhammad Afzal, Faisal Bukhari, Mr. Awais, Mr. Muzambil, Mr. Farooq, and Mr. Imran is in Karachi, and he's also he came as an assistant. Now he's running different businesses and he's entrepreneur. This is and single H and single T. I am filling it. So what is this? Is it important or doing every time a binomial displacement on a paper? I think I'm very much angry on that exercise. You do 1, 2, 3 times and just stop, throw out the paper and bring that child. Do not waste and this. No, what I did, this is the same situation. We have learned the COUNTIF. I have applied COUNTIF. This is my range. I want to, this time I have used H as a text, and this is my range. And this is all our heads are there. And what we do in our classroom, the 1, 2, 3, 4, this left, right, 5, this is 4, and there is chance of error. Develop always machines, not the clerks. So this is 0. I have constructed this with COUNTIF. No, I have divided this. Here I have used binomial test formula. The parameter of this is number of successes. This is 0. X is equal to 0. Is parameter n is 5. And this is probability, it's 0.5, and I do not need cumulative probability, so I'll write false. You can also test this formula. And what I'm later on, I'm performing this experiment. This is 32 times, and I have calculated the probabilities. This is sampling distribution of number of heads, and now this is the expected frequency. Now I am applying a pivot table on this. Again, I'm sharpening my skills on pivot tables. No, what is happening here? A teacher gave a student take 5 coins and throw those set of coins 1,000 times and record what I did. I will develop this formula for you so that you can see here is equal to if again RANDBETWEEN. Credit goes to RANDBETWEEN of today's workshop, BETWEEN. Here I can double click or press tab. Formula will be completed and bracket is in gift. So write 0, comma 1, close the bracket. If this is equal to 1, then I have a worksheet in which I have given if use of if functions and nested if functions. Then show H in the cell. Otherwise, this if then else in programming is if then else command. But in cell programming, we use this cell formula. This though control R, 5 coins are tossed. No, just click because we have data on our left side, so this can drag automatically down. So what is this? This is simulation. You can extend up to the limit of a worksheet. Okay, so here same formula, COUNTIF, and this is this is what I last time, ma'am, I was sharing it with ma'am Alia, and she told me that can we apply chi-square? I have applied the chi-square, and this is frequency. I have calculated the frequency. Not using the pivot table, but from COUNTIF because it is dynamic whenever, because this data is changing. Function F9, sorry, just on the light. Keyboard. Function F9. This is our simulation. You can load a lot of. No, this is the whole process. You can observe. I have calculated the observed frequencies. I have calculated the expected frequencies based on. I have calculated the fx. This is x into f0. This is f of x. This is mean. This is np. This is p. N over using that expression. Mean is equal to np, and this is the chi-square value, and this is the critical value. And look at here. I have applied a formula. If the value is less than and greater than, then you can also write rejected, not accepted. I have write something different. Shift F9, function F9. So observe this, where the cursor is residing. There might be a red. Yes, one time. Yeah, this is chi-square was 18. Definitely, it is a random experiment. It can produce some results that don't conform. So you can play such questions. No, I move to the next. Is it okay? So can you imitate this approach to your students of masters at least, or graduates too? This is probability. No, we are on the queries. No, we are on the queries. What is the query? when a manager says, suppose I am managing my data in a register manually. My person says, what is the sales of the last 3 days? So I will jump into the registers, find the transactions of last 3 days and give him the total. So this is the query from my manager, and I have processed that query and extracted the data from my register. But in computer, we have no registers. In place of registers, we have set of data in our tables, in our lists. So query is just a statement, just an inquiry of giving information to someone or myself. So this is is another component people used nowadays. People are working on Power Queries, but I worked on Microsoft Queries, MS Queries. This I purchased for Excel 5. This is Excel 5 is in I think 1995-96. I purchased this, and still we our professional the organizations. This is about 25-26 years. Our professionals are not on this level. Even in this lecture, we are not. Although there are a lot of new tools, but we are not still on this level. We don't know we can solve queries in Access. We don't know we solve it. I solved queries in I purchased this in 96, I think. This is 95. So I'm jumping to the query. Just 1, 2, 3. This is cleaning extra spaces. I'm not. Its time is very short, so I will just show you the different here. What a query do. This is my input table. What is table? Table is a good thing for processing of queries, because this is a list. This is a list, and this is a table. And in table, I will generate a table and show you this table will work automatically. Just enter formula at one place, it will automatically copy to the, without copying it, it will repeat to all cells. So these are very quick, fast. Here I have data with these things. I have done a query that is cleaning the extra spaces. These are the dummy names and dummy addresses, and it is resulting here. Just if I say this is T, this is T, right click and refresh. What happened to it? This is the query. This is the query, because the operations we have developed here fetched the data from this table and converted, cleared all possible spaces and displayed as a merged column. Now, if I see is already developed query, this is the query, and
So, Mr. Jawad, this is very interesting, but why is this thing being called Power Query?
It's a very interesting question. It was simple query. When it was this is version 1. This is version 1. It was child about 1 year, and definitely after 20 years, this is powerful. As we were child in our childhood, we cannot handle even a 1 kg weight, but now we can. I can lift 2 laptops and a lot of books with me. So because a lot of features have been introduced, this is previously this was called MS Query. This is Microsoft Query, and when a lot of features, a lot of things have been introduced, so this name was Power Query. In 2013 and 2010, Power Query was included, but later on an additional, I have also shared the link. If somebody is using Excel 2013 or 2010, they can download the Power Query from the Microsoft website and install that query depending on the system. The 64-bit or 32-bit, 2 files are there, 64-bit Power Query, 32-bit Power Query. After installing, you will go File and Options, File Options, and add-ins. This is add-ins. There you will see the Power Query. I have a lot of things because in my version, Power Query and Power Pivot built in 2016, 2019, and Excel 365. Power Query and Power Pivot are built in. But for those people who are using Excel 2010 and Excel 2013, they can install Power Query, and after installation, that Power Query will appear. Any add-in, any extra program that is helpful in Excel is loaded here. And to activate that, for example, I want to activate solver add-in. For example, I have not the Power Query here. I have solver add-in. This is very interesting. In some example, I did a detailed lecture in IBA Karachi, and everybody was amazed on this solver techniques. This is the solution of linear programming by a layman. Solution of linear programming problems by a layman. This is very interesting. So this is to click on an inactive that is installed, that is on the hard disk, that is with Excel, but that is not active. So press go. Do not click OK. People used to click OK, and definitely it will not work. So click go. Here we have different types of add-ins. Some are VB add-ins, some are C language or etc. programs. So go. Click go, and that will appear here. Analysis tool for already attached. Analysis tool for VBA, Visual Basic for Application, Excel as Programming Facilities 2, Euro Currency tool, and Solver add-in came here. Just I click here and click OK. So for Power Query, when after downloading, you will install the Power Query. When Power Query has been installed, you will go to File, Options, go to Add-ins, and that Power Query will occur come here. And exactly same thing is for Power Pivot, because you can download Power Pivot 2. I will also send the link for the Power Pivot. Just click OK. Here it is loading, and that is installed. And if you see, just like a data analysis tool for statistics, this is data. It's data analysis solver come here. Previously it was not. Similarly, this is statistical area in which you do a lot of statistical work, moving average, etc., and random numbers, all types of random here. So this is also add-in analysis tool by add-in. This is also attached through this process which I did for the solver. Same you will do for Power Query. So what is this? I want to show the query and how to develop it.
Yes, Mr.
Additional columns. I will add column, and I want to transform that in place. This is, I click transform, and now I go to format, and here I have trim, but you can do it at the same time. Just select this and control click. Both the columns have been selected. I just applied trim command. The data is no. I want to merge column. I press C. Because this is the first place to think over. You write your ideas, you write everything, but generalize, make a nation, make a generalized people who can handle situations smartly, make smart people. Many authors have written a lot of books. I will share the names of the books. I have a book. I purchased this book in, I think, 2001 or 2. I think this page is, this is statistics for managers using Microsoft Excel. David M. Levine, Mark L. Berenson, and David Stephen, the well-known authors. This joint collaboration. They are working on such books. It's a very old edition. I also saw a lot of editions. People are working on this approach for the last 25 years, but we are not using. We are ignoring Excel again and again. Definitely, R, Python, and other things are very important. They are. I also learned a bit of R. I'm a student at one of the workshop. I learned stat key. I learned a little bit Python. They are excellent. They are excellent. But leaving Excel is not tolerable. So use it frequently. Use it everywhere. Use shopping list. Whenever you go to some store, print that shopping list. Mark the location of the item from where you can say pillar number 1, pillar number 2, pillar number 3, rack number 1, rack number 2, rack number 3, and just put that data in your Excel and sort the next time when you will go to purchase, you will purchase all the things from one place and then second place. That's because you have sorted rack wise, you have sorted pillar wise, you have sorted location wise. So make habit.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Jawad. Okay, I think this would be the last word. And if you would stop sharing your screen, I will share mine.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for me to once again thank Mr. Mohammad Jawad Mirza for an amazing workshop. We all know, we can feel very strongly that we have to call him again because this has basically been an eye-opener for many of us who have been teaching for years even, but not done Excel in this manner. So thank you very much, Jawad Sahib, for this eye-opener and for the advanced things. I'm sure that we need more workshops. Dr. Wasim, you must have captured the entire chat. And if we'll share this chat with you later, Mr. Jawad, you will see how much interest your workshop has created. And even our keynote speaker, Dr. Owe, he has also said that your workshop has opened a new world for him. So I think this is just wonderful. Thank you very much.
This is basically a very old world, but open in new way.
Right. Now I would like to say to everybody that in addition to other initiatives, we also have the PISTAR Statistical Consultancy Services. We have initiated this initiative, and already one project has been done and another project is going on. And we would like to invite you people for this also. Just an idea occurred to me that maybe somebody would like to have a one-to-one collaboration with Mr. Jawad from the forum of PISTAR. So then all these things that you would like to be trained in, he could give you one-to-one consultancy from the forum of PISTAR, which will be excellent. As I said, we don't have any time for feedback, verbal feedback now. So ladies and gentlemen, please do give us the feedback. Other than the chat also, in that questionnaire, which will be delivered to you by Dr. Wasim. Now is the time for me to invite Mr. Haris Khurram, one of our newest team members, to deliver the vote of thanks. Mr. Haris, would you like to share your screen, or would it be fine if I continue with my screen?
Okay, so you may continue with your screen, please.
Okay, all right, just one moment. I was just wanting to, if I can do it, I was wanting to stop, yeah, okay, the camera so people can focus on the vote of thanks. being presented by you. So I will try to also do the slideshow. Sometimes it gets stuck, but I will try it now. So, ladies and gentlemen, a vote of thanks by Mr. Harris.
Okay. Honorable Professor Dr. Naghmi Habibullah, convener of the workshop, valued guests and participants, PISTAR team members, ladies and gentlemen. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks and to acknowledge the contribution of those who have worked hard to make this online event a success. I, Haris Khurram, on behalf of the entire team of PISTAR, would first of all express thanks to Allah Almighty for making this workshop a great success. Next, I would like to express my gratitude to Dr. Ave, the keynote speaker, for giving excellent coverage to the topic Bayesian dynamic regression of climate data, a change point analysis. I'm also very thankful to Mr. Muhammad Jawad Mirza, resource person and instructor for this workshop. Thank you for your efforts. We are all inspired and have learned a lot. Moreover, I would like to take this opportunity to express my great thanks for Honorable Professor Dr. Saleha Naghmi Habibullah, convener of the workshop, Dr. Syed Wasim Abbas, and the dynamic PISTAR team for arranging such an excellent learning opportunity for all of us. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, such events do not materialize overnight. It requires planning and a bird eye view, wheels starting rolling a number of weeks ago. Finally, I would like to thank all of our respectable participants for being with us. It has been a great pleasure to have you all with us today. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Haris Khurram. And ladies and gentlemen, the PISTAR team consists of Mr. Muhammad Iftikhar, Professor Muhammad Aslam, Dr. Sharqa Hashmi, Mr. Haris Khurram, Ms. Saleha Mashkoor, Ms. Kamal Aslam, and Ms. Aqsa Abed. Aqsa Abed being the youngest member, and he's the one who prepared these beautiful slides. The focal person is, of course, Dr. Syed Wasim Abbas, as I shared earlier, and I'm Saleha, the convener of this program. I would end by saying that I would like to see you all again at the workshop series on data science ideas for aspiring statistical consultants. I hope that many of you will prepare your minds to participate in this thing, which I think will be just excellent. I also want to say that this eye-opener that we have had today by Mr. Jawad, it has produced the idea that we need not one, not two, not three, maybe 4 workshops, but that will have to wait till I think after the workshop series by Roger and David Stern. In the meantime, if you would like to have one-to-one interaction with him, you can contact us and we can put arrange your meetings with him through the consultancy service. I think this is it. I want to thank you for being with us for 15 minutes more than the specified time. It has been a great pleasure, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, and Allah Hafiz.
Thank you very much.
So, Dr. Wasim, you can stop the recording now, and I will be here available for another 10-15 minutes if you like. Those who need to leave, you would probably leave.
One thing I want to add,
yes.
Because most of the people do not know Dr. David Stern. I met this person and I spent many hours with him. And he's an excellent educator. He knows how to teach statistics. His lecture was excellent. And later on, I remain in contact with him. I request all the people that they should attend this workshop of Dr. David Stern. And in addition to that, his father is also with him.